you always aspired to be a professional wrestler? Do you think you have what it takes to step through these ropes and take your place among the immortals? Well, now you have an opportunity. Join us at the DCCW training facility at Harvest Ministries in McClenny, Florida. There you will be put to the test and challenged like you have never been challenged before. If you think you have what it takes, prove it to the world, but most importantly, prove it to yourself.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? It is 2024. Woo! It is go time, baby. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, most importantly, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to stay in contact with all our platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Snapchat, all that. We are there. Honestly, guys, it is the new year. It's the time to refresh, rejuvenate, get some goals, and try to conquer them around. As you can see, I'm rocking the team that I love, cherish the most. I'm hoping they can just get better. That's all I can ask for. You know, Miami, get better. Like, yeah, get better. I'm still gonna rock I bleed orange and green till the day I die, but man, get better. But guys, get on the right path that we are having, man. I want to talk about so much things, but first we gotta talk about the guys that are paying the bills. First and foremost, we gotta talk about. I'm about to make a. Hold on, I'm getting a little tired, so I gotta. That's right, guys. I'm talking about Dubby, that jitterless energy. Yes. I'm having the big energy tears right here in my red cup right now. I know a lot of people are throwing the red solo cups this weekend, but I'm throwing up the red shaker cup. I've been doing that for the last 2 days. Obviously, guys, you can get some awesome energy tubs. Obviously, we got some good sales going on right now. They are now just celebrating 2.5 years. So shout out to Dubby. But guys, like I said, they have so many different flavors right now. And of course, they have a newer thing as well. You can have samples of Dubby energy, not just the little packs like you did with the shaker bottles or whatever. You get a full sample of the flavors that you want. All you got to do is type in promo code BUZZ20, capital B, BUZZ20, and get 10% off of your purchase. Shout out to Dubby. They have some pretty cool shaker bottles, guys. Definitely. And those big energy tears is going to get me through today. Obviously, guys, we also got to talk about my guys, the Ultimum X. That's right, guys. I just stocked back up on my BCAs, man. Some of the best BCAs that I've ever tasted. Some of the stuff that I've gotten from them is top notch, man. I highly recommend these guys. They have supplements, they have clothing apparel, they have so many cool things. I just ordered my new t-shirt that's coming out as well. Looking forward to it. Definitely got the lifestyle t-shirt. That one's I'm really excited about that one. They're very comfortable. They're not super tight. They're not super loose. They fit just right, make you look good. You can wear them on dates. You can wear them any occasion. And of course, guys, like we said before, they have some awesome supplements. The Recovery BCA is some of the best I've seen. Type in the promo code BuzzingMarlowe and get you 10% off of your purchase. Shout out to Ultimum X. Get you right for your New Year's resolutions. I know we all talk about, man, we want to get fit, we want to lose weight, we want to slow down on energy drinks. Oh, that's just me. Obviously, there's so many different things that you look at for these New Year's resolutions and all these cool things. My New Year's resolution is pretty simple, and it's just be a good father, be a good husband, be a provider for my family as best as I can, be the best energetic guy I can be on these podcasts, and continue giving you content after content and getting this thing to heights that we can imagine. Having the American Prodigy come back and revamped, even more elevated than I had in 2023. We've got some awesome goals coming up, man, and I'm really excited about everything that's going to be going on. But first, guys, you see what I'm rocking, the anti-hero? Y'all, did anybody watch Monday Night Raw last night? What a former champ was going to be on Raw last night, and man, oh man, It did not disappoint. You know, I got to bring my dog out. Yes, sir. You saw him. He came back on Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who this is, I don't know you. I don't know you. If you don't know who he is, I don't know who you are. Even though this is Black Adam, I'm talking about the guy that plays Black Adam. I'm talking about. Hold on. I'm talking about the GOAT, baby. Yes, sir. You see this? You see him? He came back last night. He came back. Yes. And of course, he got in there, did the thing. And man, did y'all hear some American Prodigy USA chants on Monday Night Raw last night? What? I was above and beyond for it. I'm like, oh man, I appreciate this so much. And then it even got even better at the end. He said, I'm a little hungry after all this laying the smackdown on Jinder Mahal. Should I go eat at a booth? Or should I go eat at the bar? This was the best part. Or should I go at the head of the table? Yes, it's finally happening. And let me say it again. Finally happening. That's right, guys. He is calling out Roman Reigns. Man, I'm telling you, that is going to be one of the most box office matches that has been built up for so long. Now the question is, where is this going to take place? I believe elimination starting to hit in. The Rock is going towards the retirement standpoint that is everybody's been waiting for so long. For the last 3 years, last 3 WrestleManias, you have been wanting to see Rock and Roman. Now, the question is, where is it going to happen? How's it going to take place? What's going to go down? I'm telling you right now, man, wrestling is hotter than it's ever been. WWE, you are killing it now. AEW, I give you thank you props because y'all have made this brand elevate up more than it's ever done. Y'all have made it to where even though I despise this guy, CM Punk now looks believable as a box office guy now in wrestling. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but obviously you see it, man. People were literally trying to find the dirt sheets of the spoiler alerts of all the Madison Square Garden matches that happened take place, where you saw CM Punk go against Dominic Mysterio. Man, it was crazy. But, man, seeing The Rock back last night and seeing Jinder, man, Jinder looked good. Jinder looked ready to go. And I, honestly, man, if people want to crap on it, whatever, but it was at the perfect time where Jinder won the title because they were going to, I think it was India. And that was the best way to do that and portray ambassadorship and sponsorship, all that stuff, man, marketing, everything. It was smart. It did its job, regardless of it, all the wrestling fans or IWC, whatever the hell you want to call these guys, whatever they want to sit there and crap on or whatever, man, let them do it. They're going to do it regardless. There's been all these memes about regarding with Cody. I'm just telling you, man, these guys have been killing it all year. Seth, Cody, Roman, the Bloodline, the Usos being separated, they have been killing it. Jimmy, Jay has changed the whole vamp now. Randy Orton coming back. There's so much cool things going on with WWE, man. I'm excited. It's really cool, man. The big kid out of me came out last night. I don't mark out on a lot of moments, man, but every time I see The Rock, it just brings the old 5-year-old kid that got to see The Rock do the people's elbow to The Undertaker and his banner drop down and challenged him at Survivor Series at 27 years of age. So it's just really cool that these moments can still happen. So, I mean, I'm excited, and even better, man, Royal Rumble is literally in 2 weeks. Man, let's talk about my bonfire shop, man, bonfire/buzzing with Marlowe. Guys, I got to show y'all some cool new things that we got for y'all, man. Y'all see those American Prodigy line? People have been asking. We deliver. That's right, guys. You see these awesome T-shirts, man. I'm telling you right now. Everybody loves the cartoonish logo. Everybody thinks that thing is so nostalgia. It's pretty awesome. You got the turquoise, you've got the blue, you got the royal blue, and of course you got the white, man. And of course we got the black, man. But you have a pullover hoodie, you could have a sweatshirt, you could have the classic unisex tee, you could have the comfort colors unisex tee. And of course, kids, I didn't forget about you. I know a lot of the Prodigy Nation is all young Prodigy fans. And of course, we have the youth pullover hoodie. I just ordered one for my son and my daughter, and they're looking excited for it, especially knowing that my daughter knows that I'm wrestling a lot now. So it's really cool. And of course, guys, they have so many different options and sizes. Go to Bonfire Shop, Bonfire/Buzzing with Marlowe, and get your Prodigy gear, man. These are now out on the Bonfire Shop for Buzzing with Marlowe, man. I'm telling y'all, I know people have been asking numerous times about it, and now they are there. And of course, you see the tagline, Prodigy Nation. And of course, guys, we have the Every Setback shirts. Makes one heck of a comeback. I know a lot of people have been wanting me to make a t-shirt out of that out of my my message. So now they are now here. Of course, guys, we have the black, the gray, and of course the red. That's the personal favorite right now. They have so many different sizes. And of course, guys, like the American Prodigies, we've got them in tank tops. We have them in all different types of shirts, man. You see the blue hoodie. I like that one. I like it. And, of course, the crew sweatshirts. For some reason, man, even though it's really cold right now, you need to get you some gear to keep you warm. These are definitely some good options. And, of course, guys, like you could see all these different cool things, man. And what that message brings, man, and this is something that I value every single day. There's no such thing as mistakes. There's no such thing as, and of course, guys, we have our season 5 logo with the Buzzing with Marlowe logo. And of course, guys, we have so many different options for them. And of course, ladies, we have the Razorback tank tops. I know those were a personal favorite last year. And of course, people have been asking for that season 5 logo, Razorback tank tops. So we got those for the ladies. And of course, now, guys, y'all can buy Bonfire gift cards. Yes, I am not lying, as you could tell. You can do the $10, you can do the $25, you can do the $50. And of course, guys, we have the original Buzzing with Marlowe hats. And of course, you have the custom, the OG logo itself, the 2 fists that basically saying my guests get to break the chains from their basic 9 to 5 and get to come in and just shoot the breeze. Yes, we have these awesome different type of hats. These are always the personal favorite, man. I'm not even going to lie to you. The hats go off the shelf. So you have so many different options. You have so many different colors. And of course, guys, like I said before, we have the original Buzzing with Marlowe t-shirts. As you can see, all those different personal favorites. And of course, you can see the different colors we have. And we even got light pink now. So, guys, go to Bonfire/Buzzing with Marlowe. Type in a promo code BUZZ20. Type in BUZZ20, capital B, 20. And get you 12% off of your purchase, man. Go on there. Shout out to Bonfire for doing the awesome jobs with the Buzzing with Marlowe merch. All right, guys. I'm not wasting no more time. I'm talking a little bit about my guest today. I am talking about Karlie Henderson. That's right, man. This one's going to be a good episode for the ladies. I know all of us go through these like I said, from New Year's resolutions, we go through, want to lose weight, you want to eat better, you want to do these things. I think this guest that I got today is going to be one of the perfect ones to bring that message out. Let's just talk a little bit about the bio of Karlie. Her main focus is around women's health, particularly around fertility and weight loss, with a condition called PCOS. Yeah. If you think or wanting to know what PCOS stands for, what it means, guys, stay tuned to this because my recording with Karlie Henderson is going to happen after the countdown goes 30 to 1, after our quick commercial break. And guys, that starts in 3, 2, 1, right now. See you in a bit.
Spend time with your family?
Sure I do.
Good.
People, what's good? What's happening? What's going on? Yo, it's me, Brian B. That's right, and I'm telling you guys to head on over to YouTube today and make sure you subscribe to the Beeline Entertainment LLC. Check us out. We all over the place. FBI, open up!
Hi guys, I'm joined with Karlie Henderson. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. It is Friday. Whew. Thank you.
TGIF.
It's been a day. It's been a week, actually.
Yeah.
So where are you currently at?
I am in Ontario, Canada, in a tiny little town called Chatham, about an hour from Detroit. Crazy.
Okay. Born and raised?
Born and raised. Yeah, I moved away, to some bigger cities for a few years, but came back to my hometown. I don't know about where you are, but housing prices were crazy here a few years ago. So we came back to be closer to family, have our own family, and buy a house that wasn't a couple $1 million.
I live in Jacksonville, Florida, so I know the struggle. So, like you just said, you moved to a bigger cities and stuff. So, how far out of Canada did you get?
Oh no, still in Canada, but
Okay.
up closer. So I don't know if you're familiar at all where like Toronto is.
Yes.
So if you just keep going up, not quite to Toronto, but about an hour south of that. So just a bigger city here. I lived in Waterloo and London for university and college and work, really. I was a financial advisor before I do what I do now.
Okay. All right, Karlie. So if nobody knows who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, by the way, Warren.
No problem.
So I'm Karlie Henderson. I'm Canadian. I'm a certified nutritionist and a premier health coach. I'm the founder of Charisma Nutrition. I specialize in helping women with PCOS get pregnant, lose weight, and get rid of their symptoms naturally. I'm also a mom to two busy boys, Bennett and Brody, ages 3 and 8 months today. Even after I was told that IVF was going to be my only hope, I had several failed rounds of fertility treatments, and it wasn't really until I got back to the basics, got to the root cause of what was really going on with my health and the reason I couldn't get pregnant and why I was having so many losses, that I finally got pregnant naturally. And being a mom is really hard, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I love that. So I love how your story, you got off the rip saying like, I knew I could have a child, even though people have told me I can't. Let's find the alternative. Let's do it the right way. I mean, there's so many different ways that people do it. I know you living in Canada. I know they get those shuns where they look at US and be like, hey man, y'all do too much shortcuts on a lot of things in life, and it's kind of weird at times. And then now we suffer for some of the choices that we do, those shortcuts in life. Like, let's take a shot and lose weight this way and stuff like that. And then they realize all the bad side effects that happen to these things. I'm just sitting, I'm like,
oh yes,
you didn't want to do it the easy way. Like literally it might have been difficult. It might have took some time, but at least longevity wise, you're more appreciative of, hey, I shed that weight off myself. Not I did that shortcut. Now I might have a lung puncture or something like that. And I'm just sitting there like,
yes,
that's such choices y'all had. So, and I loved how, like, when you did say someone told you no, that you did not take that advice to literally go, all right, I'm done. Like so many people could have just literally said, all right, we might have to look at adoption or something like that. So I could tell it definitely wasn't a just happened moment. It was definitely like you've been wanting to be a mom for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I was 26 years old. We had just gotten married. We just bought a house. I mean, we bought this big 2-story, 4-bedroom, thinking,
gotta fill it up.
Kids, and like that's our life. And I'll never forget sitting after seeing 4 different OBs and fertility specialists, driving hours to find a better doctor. Cause like I said, I'm in a very small town. And just them saying, we've tried A, B, and C, like we've tried all these different fertility treatments. Like the next step now is IVF. In Canada, we get 1 round free as long as you haven't had a kid yet already, or your partner hasn't. But it's a long wait. It's like an 18-month wait list. And even if you want to adopt, it's like 2 years, depending which route you go. And it was just like, oh my God, like we never expected this, right? I mean, and we had like a few losses. So it was just devastating. So I said, okay, like what is going on? I'm generally a healthy person. And what really I came to realize, and I'm going to ask you a question, is if you went into the washroom, and I'll bring this back so you know what I mean. But if you ran into your bathroom and your bathtub was overflowing, right? You walk in, there's, the tub is overflowing. There's water everywhere. What's the first thing you do?
Go turn the water off.
Exactly. Right. And that's what really was my aha moment. Like, why am I taking all these pills, which I'm going to say are equivalent to a mop, right? Like, why aren't I just turning off the tap? Right? Like, this doesn't make any freaking sense. Like, yes, I'm all for, go to the doctor if you're severely sick, you're in a car accident, you have a heart attack. I had both my kids in the hospital. I'm not like this. Yes, I'm a holistic nutritionist. I also believe in real medicine, like, you know, Western medicine, whatever you want to call it. But when it comes to chronic conditions like, you know, type 2 diabetes, PCOS, endometriosis, arthritis, like things that people are living with for a long time, a lot of autoimmune diseases, our system is broken, right? Like, I don't like to call it healthcare. I tend to call it sick care. Like, you know, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy person because I'm not.
I call it pointless care, honestly. It's there, you pay it off of the check, and
they're not.
It don't even cover half the stuff that you need it for.
Yeah. So I just came to the point where I realized, like, okay, these fertility clinics at the end of the day, even in Canada, like, fertility is not usually covered by insurance here. It's a business, right? And they're not in the business of a full-term healthy pregnancy. Like, they want to get you pregnant, but if you lose that baby, or, you know, that round doesn't work, they're getting another paycheck, right? And I know that sounds awful, and I'm sure not all doctors are like that, but at the end of the day, they don't make a lot of money if you don't need them, right? So that's what I started realizing and doing a lot of research.
I like that metaphor. I use that, like, when we talk about an auto mechanic. Like, yes, they work on your car, but I think they tamper with something else to make you come back. Or they give you a quality standpoint where it's not, oh, you won't be here for about 3 months, but about that 4th or 5th month, I kind of recommend you to come back. Like, they already made it look like, all right, you're going to have to get this replaced. Like, I agree with that scenario. I've had some of my times, you know, especially doing this podcast, seeing some stuff that I've heard about with the guards and medical field. I'm not knocking any doctor and stuff like that. We went through a miscarriage before we had my 4-year-old, and that day was just, it was traumatizing, and it was just like, I mean, the doctors, I mean, I bless these nurses and stuff, that what they go through every day. Like, they're seeing 1 or 2 people, maybe more, die a day, and they literally got to act like it doesn't faze them and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, when we saw that day and we get the ultrasound, because we were just like, we were super excited. My wife was super excited. This was her first child. Obviously, I have my son, but she hasn't had a child with me, and she never had her child yet. So it's like, she was really excited about this one, because that's all she's ever wanted to be, was a mom. And we got the ultrasound. We didn't see anything. And then they were shuffling around, looking around, and then they showed this certain little spot, and then they just cut it off and said, I'm sorry. Like, it was nothing. Like, that was such a traumatizing thing for us, but it was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you that. And, like, we're just downing, but it's like, they literally have to have no reaction. And I understand it now, but it's like, the way that stuff is with the medical field, I feel like so many people could take more of acknowledgement. And I watched this one show, and it was about superheroes. I don't know if you're big on superheroes or not. I was watching this one show that made superheroes, yes, in the public eye, they're great. They're the heroes. They're the ones to protect you and stuff like that. But outside of the limelight, off the TV screens, whatever, behind the scenes, they were not as good as the bad. They were actually worse than the bad guys. Like, I mean, and it made me really go, like, this is speaking some volume. Even though this is a fantasy movie, this is put together, whatever, it's speaking a lot of volumes of what the main reality is around here nowadays. And it's like, some of the people that we see that are good behind the scenes, they might not be as good as they are on Channel 4 News or whatever else they're on. Like, it makes you have that second guess of, like, was it right for me to take him to the hospital? Was it right for me to do this? Like, we're thinking already off the rip. And I think doctors have this advantage over a lot of people. They'll talk those high terms, knowing that none of us know what they're talking about. But we're going to agree, even though we probably wouldn't want to agree. We're going to agree because we're thinking, well, they're a doctor. They've been in school for such and so. They know what they're doing. And I've had times where I've been questioning a lot of stuff that a lot of things regarding with the medicals, a lot of things that happen. I don't joke about this at all. I don't take pills. I don't take medicine. I don't take any of that stuff. I joke about it. I don't even take Tylenol. Like,
No,
I
trying
literally
to.
don't like taking anything that's going to try to control me, because longevity wise, I don't want that to affect me. And I tell my mom this, I tell my family this all the time, and they look at me like, oh, you can suffer
Well,
from
they
it.
want you to feel like you're
Hey.
crazy, but you're not wrong. I mean,
It drives
you're
me nuts
not-
because I'm like, I've literally, since me and my wife have been together for 7 years now, I can count on one hand how many times I've been sick. My
Yeah.
wife, I'm damn near out hands and toes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I used to be like too, right? You don't know what you don't know. You trust somebody who's a figure of authority, right? You think, oh, well, you know, they went to medical school. They must be a genius and know something that I don't. But at the end of the day, well, why is science and technology advancing, but obesity rates are higher than they've ever been before?
Yep.
We're in a total mental health crisis. We're growing resistant to antibiotics. Autoimmune diseases are everywhere, like chronic illness, infertility. Like fertility is the lowest it's ever been.
It's
Like
crazy.
why is this happening when we're supposed to be as advanced as we've ever been, right? I mean, we have a pill for literally everything, but why is everybody getting sicker? Why is it getting so much harder to have a baby, and a healthy baby that sticks? Like, I was in that position that you and your wife were in, like for back in just before COVID started. And it was, you know, I had my positive pregnancy test, I had my blood work to confirm. And then, okay, like, you know, I had all the symptoms, everything was fine as far as I knew. I go into the ultrasound and there's no baby. It turned out it was a molar pregnancy. And I didn't even know what the hell that was. Like, it was just didn't form properly. So I still had the pregnancy hormones, but there was no like normal growth. So then I had to have a surgery to remove that, then recover from the surgery. Then I got pregnant again, and it was an ectopic pregnancy, and I knew something was wrong. And my doctor wouldn't listen to me. I told him, like, I had these really sharp pains and that, you know, I'm spotting and like, I just feel off. And he's like, oh no, he literally said it's something you ate. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, like, I was actually away on a work trip, and I called my husband a few times from the hotel that night, and he wasn't picking up. It was like the middle of the night. And I was literally standing in the hotel bathroom holding on to the sink because I was going to wipe out. I was in that much pain, to the point where I just sent him a text, like a voice to text, saying, this is what's happening. If I don't wake up in the morning, like, this is what happened. Like, this is how much pain I'm in. It was one of the scariest moments of my life. And it turned out it was an ectopic pregnancy that ruptured, almost killed me. And I had to have another surgery to get that fixed, right? Like, and then there's chemical pregnancies where, you know, it shows up positive on a pregnancy test because you're trying, but then you get your period, right? So it doesn't stick. It's like a very early miscarriage, right? And a lot of times if you're not trying, or you're not watching closely, like, a lot of times people just think, oh, my period's a day or two late, no big deal, right? Thank God it came if you're not trying. But that's a lot of times.
Ding dong.
Like, I mean, even if you don't have PCOS, like someone, you know, at peak fertility, say in their early 20s, per cycle, you only have like a 25% chance of actually getting pregnant, right? It comes down to the quality of your eggs, timing, like all kinds of things, right? Your exposure to toxins, you know, do you have PCOS or endometriosis or something like that? So when you throw in those hormonal imbalances into the mix, like per cycle, you have maybe a 5 to 10% chance of getting pregnant on your own. Like, it's tough.
It's crazy, which is crazy because it seems like it's so easy. Especially, I mean, when you look at these TV shows that came out, I'm pretty sure you knew the 16 Pregnant TV show that came on MTV.
Yes.
It was supposed to teach us, hey, watch what you're doing. Instead, it established, hey, they can do it. Let's go. Let's do it ourselves. Let's do this. And I hated how they were on TV.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I hated that crap. I hated how they would be on TV talking about this is so miserable. I said, man, y'all getting paid by MTV to be on the TV show. Come on. You ain't struggling.
And then the one that I found was really bizarre. And I mean, just based on my pregnancies and anybody that I know, is that I didn't know I was pregnant. Did you ever see that?
I can't believe I was pregnant. Yeah, I remember those shows.
Yeah, I didn't know I was pregnant.
On the
truck
ID
stop
channel or something like that.
Giving birth on the side of the highway, and they didn't even know they were pregnant. I'm like, my freaking boobs like tripled in size. Like, how did you not know you were
That's
pregnant?
what I was wondering, because like I remember when I watched one episode, and I remember she thought she had food poison or something like that. She goes to the hospital. Oh, you're about to have a baby. How do you not know you're close to having a baby? Because I mean, even if you don't really get real big, you're still gonna feel something there. I mean, I don't know. I dang sure won't ever experience it. I'm very saying that one. But I'm pretty sure you would feel something around, because like when my wife was sick, when my wife was pregnant, she was constantly sick. Like, you're going to feel some reaction. There's no way you're just going to be like, oh, I didn't know I was pregnant. Like, there's not a way that you shouldn't be able to know that something is in there. Like, come on.
Yeah, like you can feel it. I mean, I'm not calling all these women liars, but like, what the heck kind of pregnancy is that? Like that, I can't even imagine. Like, I don't even believe that. That's crazy.
I remember when we went to mommy me classes. This is when I had my first son. Them girls were hating everything about the pregnancy. Like, the funny thing was, all of them were venting about how bad their feet was swollen, how it was everything. And I remember we were watching that show. I'm like, I guarantee you, if that person came in this class, that they would be getting jumped right now.
Yeah. Like, pregnancy is hard. Like, my sister, for example, she's pregnant right now. She also has PCOS, and there's a big genetic component to it. So she also has PCOS and followed my program, got pregnant the first try, the first month. And she is like, obviously over the moon, happy that she's pregnant, but she's due in December. And she's like, Karlie, get this effing baby out of me. She's like, I don't know how you did this. She's like, I just felt
December's the worst. December's the worst.
Yeah, she's due like not even 2 months from now, December 12th. So I'm really excited.
Oh, wow. Really? That's the day. My daughter was born December 11th.
Really? Okay, well, maybe they'll have the same birthday. That'd be pretty cool.
December 11th, and then you got Christmas right around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just crazy.
So how long were you? So how did you get into the business that you're doing now? Did you go through these experiences first, or were you already doing that stuff before you got pregnant and all that?
No, so that's when it was like, okay, something is wrong here. So I actually went back to school for nutrition. Like, I started learning about, I got my PCOS diagnosis, and then I started learning about insulin resistance and blood sugar control and inflammation and stress hormones. And like I said, I was a financial advisor. Like, I didn't know much about health or science, anatomy, anything. So I literally went back to square one, like anatomy 101. Started taking nutrition courses, women's health, reading, hormone blood work, all that stuff, and really found my passion. And it started out with a lot of trial and error, but eventually, like,
Did you feel out of place at first? Did you feel out of place first? Did you feel out of place at first? Like you just said, you had to start all the way over.
Yeah.
So how long did you go to school before you did all that? Before you had to go back and basically hit a reset button?
I went to school for psychology first, and then I switched to finance. So I had already done 2 different programs.
So you had to reset that whole thing and go all the way back. Congratulations on that, though. Congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm still always learning. I'm still, constantly listening to podcasts and staying up to date on, science and all the books. I'm constantly reading, like, completely addicted to personal development, I have to say. But no, eventually I developed a system where I realized, okay, there's 6 things going on here that's preventing women from PCOS from getting pregnant. And that's your nutrition, it's your stress hormones, it's your sleep, it's your toxic load. So your exposure to hormone disrupting chemicals, anything from, your food, your laundry detergent, your makeup, your skin cream, all that stuff. taking the wrong supplements, or, not taking any supplements. A lot of us have micronutrient deficiencies. And then timing. A lot of women with PCOS don't know when they're ovulating, right? They're relying on these apps, or like the P-Sticks ovulation kits. It's like a P-Stick. And they're not timing it properly. Like they're having sex, say, the day that they think they're ovulating, or using when the app tells them, which is not accurate for somebody with PCOS.
I'm so glad you said that, because so many people rely on that app. I know exactly which one you're talking about. And I kept asking my wife, I'm like, how do you know you're exactly this on this phone? Did you put this phone in your DNA inside of the phone to figure this out? Like, how? And I remember when we first started trying, before we had Belle at this time, and she was so adamant about this app. And I'm just sitting there looking at this phone, I'm like, I don't think this sounds right, because there was a couple times she said she was ovulating, she had a period, and I was like, I don't think that was right.
No. So you have to learn to read your body. It can be a pain in the butt, but the method that I use, it's called the symptothermal method. So you look at your symptoms, like your cervical fluid, for example, and you take your temperature in the morning with a double-digit thermometer. So instead of just saying like 98.7, it would say, 98.72. Right? It's very, very accurate. You take it every morning, as long as you wake up within the same hour every day. If your temperature rises for 3 days in a row, that's your progesterone rising. That means that you're ovulating. So you want to have sex before that. And it's, simple. Girls wipe when they pee, right? So you just wipe before you pee. Girls have lots of fluids down there, and that's how you know when you're ovulating, right? That fluid is what carries the sperm up into your uterus. Sorry, but they need help, and bam, you'll be pregnant.
I love how you said the first thing was nutrition. So many people fail on that, and I remember when we were first told that, my kid's mom, when we first found out we were having my son. I loved how when we went to these classes and stuff, because we're thinking, oh, she can eat whatever she wants, because she was really skinny. So she was just going to, all right, you get to eat whatever you want for those 9 months. I'm thinking that's all you need to do. No, they were telling us, no, she needs to be more adamant on eating vegetables. She needs to be more adamant eating fruit, watch the citric fruits that she's eating, all this stuff. And I was just like, they got to have a meal plan to get big.
Yeah, it's a really, really delicate time, right? You don't want to set yourself up for preeclampsia or gestational diabetes, right? Like that can have major complications.
But you're very sensitive at that time too, so it's easy to catch anything at that time.
Yep. Yeah, you need to be really healthy for you and for the baby, but also for you. When you birth that baby, you want to be in the best physical shape that you can be, considering you've been carrying a human for 9 months. But especially if you end up with a C-section, like I did for my first baby, he was breech, so I didn't really have a choice. And it was rough. That recovery, oh my God, it's awful.
Yeah,
worth it, but not fun. My second son, I had just, he wasn't breech or anything, so I just had him the normal way. But man, he broke my pelvis almost. I left the hospital with a walker. So I don't want to scare anybody who wants to have kids. It is worth it.
My daughter was too big for my wife at the time. I remember when my wife was pushing, Belle was kind of stuck, could not fully go. I almost got to the point. It's crazy me talking about it now, because I would have been so grossed out not even 5 years ago. So it's I remember when Belle was slightly there, I almost grabbed the scissors myself and cut her, because I was like, that baby's suffocating because it can't push. And it was just because Belle was too big for Samantha. And it was my wife. But she's wanting to have another one too. But I just keep telling her, I'm I want you to really do stuff differently this time. Maybe that might help you not be so sick that you have been in the past. Because my wife, she gets sick quick. My wife's allergic to everything on the planet. It's she turns sideways and she'll get a whiff of something. I I don't try to be mean, but I mean it's a funny joke. I try to be funny about it, but it's a serious matter because my daughter is the exact same. Like I said, we just started her with school, so her first time ever going to school and stuff like that, she's bringing sickness home like every other week, and then it goes to transfer to my wife, and it's just like, oh, y'all can stay down that way the whole time until y'all are good. Like it's just a constant thing, and it's amazing to what really your body can absorb. Because, like I said, I rarely ever get sick, and I'm in a warehouse. I work at a cold area, so I would think I'm bound to get sick more at times because I'm in like a refrigerated area for like 16 different hours. Yeah, so for me to come home and get easier sick at home, that's got to be crazy to me just to hear that reference, because I'm like, I'm in a cold area, and I don't really like cold weather. I really don't do well in cold. And it's like when I come home, it's like more of a danger zone at home than I would be there. And it's always been a weird thing, because I remember what a lot of people, and I'm adamant, and I tell people all the time now, is with your kids, take them outside, take them out there, take them around kids and stuff like that. Because like I said, my daughter's 4 years old, so she was like 1 when COVID was happening. And obviously nobody was in the daycare programs and terrified and stuff like that. So like, luckily my mom has watched her all the way until she was like 3. So literally shout out to the grandma on that one. But she watched her until she was 3. So she wasn't really around so many different kids at the time. So now we're getting that experience like, oh, she's doing this, she's picking this up, she's doing this stuff, and we're still learning at the times. And it gets to a point where you can't fully get onto them because they're doing what you're bringing them to go to that place to do, is learn. Granted, there is some good stuff and there is some very bad stuff that she will learn at school. Hey, if she gets mad now, she's throwing toys and stuff now. We're trying to teach her not to do that, but it's like we can't fully get onto her because she is doing exactly what we're asking her to do at this daycare center, is to learn. And I know people are going to be in the chat looking at me going, I would spank her behind throwing the toy. I'm not recommending it, but I'm just saying because she is doing what we are bringing her to do, is learn. Like, yeah, there's positive, then there's also going to be some downfalls at the time too, because now she is a little bit nastier at times because she sees kids being a little nasty and stuff. And it's like, I get to the point now where I'm just going through wipes and I just wipe her hands at least every time I see her and just be like, all right, there we go. Like it's gotten to that point because I used to not even have to worry about it because, like I said, she was at home all the time. So it's like now she's around these kids and stuff. Now her immune system is still trying to work on picking it up. Granted, fall weather's now coming in, so now allergies are about to start rising through. So it's just like, it's just a whole pile that's going through. But it's so crazy to see how sensitive the younger bodies can get, but easy to get immune to compared to, say, like me, my wife, yourself, your family, stuff like that. It's so crazy to see how your body adapts just to an environment, just around. So say like in this heated area right now, some bodies it might be sensitive to them because heat is not very good for their skin or something like that, because it's just crazy to see the adaptations of people's bodies. And that's what I'm trying to go, I guess, because it just amazes me because, like, you know, when we talk about supplementation, we talk about all these different things. And I do want to acknowledge on this too, I do take certain supplements, but I research a lot of the supplements that I'm doing, because even though, and I want people to realize this, and I'm pretty sure you agree with me on this, just because it's at a health food place or something like that doesn't mean it's always healthy. It doesn't mean, this energy drink is literally a vitamin pill for you that day. Like, I try to tell people all the time, like, research what your body is on. Like, a lot of people looked at me, and definitely in wrestling, a lot of people tell me not if I could wrestle my shirt on, because they felt uncomfortable with me and stuff, because they were literally trying to eat no carbs and, you know, eating a burger without a bun. I'm just eating with bun and everything, and they'll just get so mad because they're like, it doesn't even look like it touches you warm because I know my body type. Like I literally researched everything before I even started going to the gym. And then I found something just to motivate me to continue to go to the gym, because now I have something to focus on and keep continuing on. So it's like I wanted to research what my body type is, which a lot of people really do need to understand what their body type is, because that makes it so much easier to like, okay, if I eat a certain amount, this is how much more energy I need to sweat out at that time. Like I tell people all the time, there's no such thing as a diet, but you have to figure out what your body can and cannot take. And that's something like I tell people all the time, like, yeah, soda's not going to kill you, but I wouldn't recommend 5 to 6 cans a week or a day or something like that. It's just like you have to prioritize, and it's on your choice. And like I tell people, it's like a path. If you choose to eat that pizza, all right, you're going to either take a benefit out of it, do the positive things. Okay, if I ate that pizza, I'm going to get up off the couch a little bit and walk around a little bit, burn off a little calories. Or I'm going to sit there, and then obviously it's going to build up in your stomach and your immune system. Or I love the typical one, oh, I'm 30 now, so it's just, my body's going to go to heck and all that. And I tell people, man, I still look pretty dang good for my age at this time, because I even joked about it. I said, if we went to the high school reunion right now, I'd probably look a little bit better than most of the people around, because I literally take focus in what I'm putting in myself. Like I said, I'm on intermittent fasting now for almost a month and a half. And from me eating 7 meals a day to only like, oh, I got to remind myself to eat a big meal just right now, because I have an 8-hour gap. And that's something I had to learn, is like, oh, that 8-hour gap, I do need to refuel my body, because it did take a toll in my workouts and stuff. Because I remember when I messaged my friend, I was like, hey, I'm a lot sore now than I used to be when I'm lifting now. And it's like, are you eating a lot? And I was like, well, I'm waiting to eat on that gap. He said, but you need to fuel yourself through those 8 hours, not just that one meal and like, okay, you're good. Like you got to push yourself to get your energy to continue that to go. And that's something I'm still learning, but it's like, it's so crazy to see what your body absorbs and what it takes. And I love when you talk about the holistic nutrition, and, we're not downing doctors and stuff like that, but it is also a focus that you should look at and go, is this a good thing to take them to agree that they're going to treat? Or, okay, this is good now, but 3 months now, oh, I'm going to have to be back to square one because I just agreed to something because I didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah. So like they don't make money on preventative medicine, right? So another metaphor that I really like people to think of is, picture yourself as a tree, okay? Your leaves are your symptoms. Your branches are a medical condition. The trunk of the tree is your lifestyle. And the soil is your environment and your genetics. So if you get sick and you have all these symptoms, headaches, brain fog, digestion issues, fertility issues, whatever, any sort of sickness, are you going to treat the tree leaves? Like, are you going to go and start cutting off the leaves and start, trying to band-aid them together and try to fix the leaves? Or, start trying to like nail the branches together? No, right? If a tree is sick, you look at the soil, right? You look at the roots, right? What's going on? What is causing it, right? Like you look at the tree trunk, that's your lifestyle. Those are the things that hold the tree together and give it stability, give it its health, right? Doctors, I mean, nothing against them. I respect them. They're smart, whatever. But at the end of the day, they don't get trained on nutrition. They just don't. Like, unless they're, I don't even know of a doctor that does this, honestly, but they get maybe, I think it was 12 hours. I can't remember the statistic. I'll have to look it up again, but it's like less than a day's worth of training in nutrition in their entire medical degree. So they're using the only tool that they know that's in their tool belt, which is their prescription pad, right? So it's not like they're purposefully trying to do something wrong by you. But that was what they were taught, right? Like you have this symptoms, take this pill. You have this problem, if the pill's not working, let's just chop it off and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Like it's just so broken and it frustrates me. And I'm not saying that women who are struggling with fertility, they shouldn't do IVF or whatever. I just don't think it should be the first.
It should be the first choice. It should be the first outlook.
As soon as somebody with PCOS, for example, like they have an irregular cycle, they don't know when they're ovulating, they're having issues with their weight or whatever symptoms. Basically, they go to their doctor. Maybe they go to an OB, an endocrinologist, whatever doctor. The first thing that they say is, okay, take metformin, which is for type 2 diabetics, even though we're not diabetic. And they say, take birth control pills because that's going to regulate your cycle. But you're actually not having a cycle. That totally hijacks everything. It's not even a real period. It's complete garbage. Like if I do have a daughter one day, she will not be on hormonal birth control. And that's another conversation for another day. But basically they say, okay, take these pills now. And then when you want to have a baby, come back and we'll give you a new set of pills. They don't talk about what you're eating, or they'll say, come back after you lose some weight, but they don't tell you how to lose weight. They might say, just start counting calories. But for someone like a man, you don't have a cycle, like your hormones are pretty static, like that would work for you, calories in, calories out. But for females, it's a lot different. We have to focus on not only how much we eat, but what we're eating, because, fat, protein, and carbs really affect your insulin, your stress hormones. They really affect you differently and at different times of the month, which obviously affects your egg quality and the health of your baby, or whether or not you're even going to ovulate. And if it's going to stick, if it has time to implant in your uterus, like all of these things. And it's not just your food, right? Like one thing that you said is, just because you walk into one of these health food stores and there's this supplement does not mean it's safe. Like there is hardly any regulation, and it's not just supplements.
I love the ones that work there and they don't have a clue what you're asking, but they will sit there and go, well, I like this one. I'm like, no, that can cause you to have way more issues than that. And then they just look at me, because some of them actually, and I'm sorry to cut you on this, but I do have to say something on this one. When you have these people that work at these supplement companies and stuff, they only get like the minimum of what they got to do. Obviously, they know what a multivitamin is, and they know, obviously, just the vitamin D's and the vitamin C's. But when they go in and talk about everything else, so say like, hey, how you do muscle building? The first thing you're going to look at, oh, you need to be on creatine. I'm going to look at them and go, really? How much creatine am I supposed to have? Oh, just 1 scoop. I'm like, really? Okay. Knowing dang well, that's a terrible lie right there. You're only supposed to have 5 grams of creatine. But creatine is not a great supplement to put in your body, because it's like a synthetic acid that literally is only known to do is to build fat inside of you, to build you to get weight and stuff like that. And I just let him go, and I just sat there and just listened to him for a good, I only could do like 5 to 6 minutes of it, because I was just sitting there like, okay. And then I asked him, so what's the purpose of that whey protein over there? He's like, well, I think it's going to do this and this for you. I was like, you think? But you're going to sell that product to somebody.
Right? Like it's so sad. And it's not just supplements either. Like,
it's everything.
Because I focus on like a holistic lifestyle, right? It's not just your nutrition, but like I said, the sleep, your stress, and the environmental toxins that you're exposed to. Like being women, we use like on average 26 products before we even leave the door. That's like your shampoo, your conditioner, your toothbrush, your deodorant.
Does that affect something? Does that affect something with shampoos?
Oh, yeah. Those are environmental toxins, right? You hear about phthalates, for example. Those impact your insulin resistance, which make it easier to gain weight, harder to lose weight, and make your egg quality bad, right? Like your face cream can literally, or your body wash, anything sort of like creamy, can affect your hormones, like parabens. I can just go on and on and on, but just because it's on a shelf does not mean it's... There's literally no regulation. So for example, the European Union bans about 1,400 chemicals, like just in general on personal care products, food products, like any sort of consumable for human use. They ban about 1,400. Canada has a watch list of, and it's like on a graded scale of about 600 chemicals. The US has 12 things that are not allowed in products. We live in an environment, both Canada and the US, where basically it's up to it's consumer regulated. So as long as it doesn't kill you, like today, you can sell it. But as soon as something, you know, as soon as consumers start saying like, you know, it's having these effects very, very quickly, and they can prove, which is very difficult, they can prove that it's from this specific product, which is very hard, especially when you're up against like P&G or something like in a company like that. Only then will the FDA or Health Canada, whoever, start doing an investigation. So it's really up to the consumer to know how to read labels, which look like a science experiment on the back. And all of those things affect your hormones. Obviously, cancer plays into it. Like just because something is on a shelf, absolutely does not make it safe. Like whether, like I'm affiliated with, like I'm not an influencer, but like a affiliate with Beauty Counter. They're like a non-toxic skincare and makeup and all that stuff, because I found it when I was pregnant. I like it. And it got me away from, you know, Ulta Beauty and Sephora and all of these companies, even like Aveeno, for example. They're like Aveeno Naturals. Like, no. Please read the label, because it's called greenwashing. And if you want to get pregnant, you know, you want to have longevity, you want to just avoid cancer, please double check your products. Like it is crazy the things that go into these. I'm talking formaldehyde, like what they fill dead bodies with. Formaldehyde is something that's controlled, but there's other chemicals where if you mix them with another chemical, there's a reaction where it does turn into formaldehyde, but that's illegal because it's not technically formaldehyde. Yeah. And you put that on your body, and your skin is your biggest organ, and it absorbs everything. And nobody is paying attention to this. Like it is terrible.
I gotta ask. So say like face, what are they called? Not bar soaps, but they're like obviously just for the facial ones. Like, is there certain ingredients on soaps that you really need to make a focus on too?
Yeah, like parabens, sulfates, phthalates, pegs. Like I can send you a list, but like,
what about Dove soap? Is Dove soap bad?
Yeah, Dove. We used to use Dove, and we don't use Dove anymore.
I was recommended because I was bad. I had really bad acne in my 5th grade year, like in middle school and stuff like that. I was like really bad, and so we went to this physicianist and stuff like that, and they were just like giving me all these different products. Well, I did take Accutane at first, and it worked. It worked for me for a little bit. I mean, I'm a little kid at the time, so I'm not really knowing what it's doing. But I'm playing football too, so when I'm putting this thing on my face, yeah, it's clearing me out. But it's looking like I got major sunburn on my face when I get out of the sun. And then obviously I'm peeling. Like it looks nasty. I look just scaly, and it's disgusting. And I only did Accutane for like 3 months or something, but it cleared my skin instantly. Like. And then I recommended it to my friends. Then I recommended it to my friend, sadly, and he almost died from it.
Yeah, it's very strong.
Because I recommended him to do it because he had bad acne like me. And I'm like, yeah, my mom took me to this dermatologist, you know, this such and such, and they'll get you on it. Now just know you can't take blood work for a year or something like that. You can't donate blood or something like that.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, it's a very strong steroid. Like you need to be very careful. And I told him I could only done it for 3 months. I was like, it did a lot of different things to me. Like I was very tired. It felt just like my face was instantly burning. Yeah. Because I used to do Dove soap. They told me to do Dove soap. I literally stopped eating chocolate. I mean, you're telling it little. I'm like 11 years, maybe 12. Telling me that don't eat chocolate because my acne is bad. Like that is devastating for somebody. So it's like I didn't eat chocolate. I really didn't touch sodas, which I loved Code Red Mountain Dew. So that was really hard for me. So it's like those little things, but my face cleared up from it. And I think it was just because I just stopped doing all these stuff that possibly could happen. Now the Accutane might have helped it, but me doing the other alternative, like, all right, I'm just not going to do any of this other stuff. Like I really didn't even candy for like 2 years before I even messed with like maybe gummy bears or something like that. That was it. Like And I think that's why it worked for me. But compared to when it did it for him, it almost killed him. Like it felt so bad because I was like, man, I recommended it to him, and my mom recommended it to his family and stuff. And literally, he almost died, like not even 2 months in it. And it really scarred his face worse because it made it okay. His face was cleared, but it made like scars on his face.
Oh my God.
And it was just like, it was so different.
Like a lot of women with PCOS, because they have elevated testosterone and elevated inflammation, acne is really just a screaming symptom from your body. It's a red flag that you have inflammation, that there's something going on. Their acne is a symptom of a bigger issue, right? In a lot of cases in teenagers, it's hormones, it's a poor diet, it's high sugar, it's inflammation, right? So you have to get to the root cause. A lot of times that's gut health. Like there's a lot of things behind different types of acne, but women with PCOS really struggle with like cystic acne, like the ones that you can't pop, they're like hard and they hurt. And then sometimes they have facial hair. So then they get an ingrown hair and it's really, really painful. So Accutane used to be like one of the number one things that was recommended to women with PCOS along with metformin and birth control. But it literally got to a point where like it was causing major birth defects. So if you are of childbearing age, like you cannot take Accutane or like
Accutane I think is banned. I think they took it off the shelf if I remember. I think they took it off the shelf. Some people can still, at least in Canada, but you have to have a birth control prescription with it to make sure that you do not get pregnant if you're on it. I think they've changed it a little bit, but yeah, like it's hardcore stuff. Like I do not recommend it at all. Like if you have acne, like there's a bigger issue. I mean, Beauty Counter has a line called Counter Control. It's like proactive sort of, but like a natural version, but it actually works. It has salicylic acid and really great ingredients in it, but it's not going to do that to you, right? I'm just trying to look at when it comes to like products that men would use as well. So any sort of product that has water in it, it's going to have parabens. So parabens are a preservative for anything that basically has water. So it's there for a good reason, but it's a cheap preservative that impacts your hormones. It really affects your estrogen. BPA, for example, I know you've probably heard of like BPA-free water bottles or plastic, but if like, you know, the receipts when you go to the store, you get a receipt and it's just like a weird paper. It's coated in BPA. So if you ever if you have an option to not touch or take a receipt, don't. And if you do, wash your hands. That is like a horrible chemical. Like I'm a crazy person, but I try to tell cashiers the same thing. Like, hey, just a heads up. Did you know that that paper is coated in BPA, which really affects your estrogen? So it can make like say menopause symptoms a lot worse. It can really impact fertility. And men, obviously, you don't want your estrogen messed with either, right? So that's just one example of BPA, and that's in water bottles, receipts, like it's everywhere. So I use glass, stainless steel. These new bottles, I like these little stainless steel ones they got now, like the Turvis look ones. I like those. Yeah, I like those too. But no, like, and you're never going to be 100%, right? Like, I don't want to freak anybody out and be like, oh my God, there's no product that I can use. And like, you know, everything's poison and, you know, then you just give up on everything. I don't want people to think that, but things that you could do, like switching away from nonstick pans, like, you know, Tefal nonstick pans, those are coated in a chemical called PFAS, PFAS. And that's on everything, like stain resistant carpet, your shower curtain, so that it doesn't get moldy. All kinds of stuff like water resistant clothing. Like if you look up firefighters, flame retardant clothes, they obviously don't want to catch fire, but their rates of cancer, not only from smoke inhalation, but also exposure to those chemicals on their clothes, like it's skyrocket. Like it's crazy. Really? Like just switching to stainless steel pots and pans. There's a trick to cooking with those. They're not as easy as a nonstick, but you can cook an egg in there without any oil if you know how to do it. Switching to ceramic, cast iron, like there are definitely easier alternatives, right? Like I said, stainless steel and glass for your water bottle, switching to like, I like Beauty Counter or Crunchy, or there's a brand out of Canada that you can get even just on Amazon, and it's called Attitude. And that's what I use for all my cleaning products, my baby wipes,
everything, like, and it's cheap, like it's super cheap. They have everything from hand wash, face wash, lotions, deodorant, like you name it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Definitely look at that.
The company-
That's kind of interesting to find out, because like nobody knows these things, and like we get to those, and I think we are at to this point too, and I think this is something that we can both tackle on, basically almost to finish this episode, is we don't realize a lot of things because we just want to get by, and we're just seeing it as, oh, this is cheaper than this product, this is why I'm going to do this. I used to be like that with water, and now, and I remember when I went to the doctor after I think I was wrestling. Yeah, I was wrestling for like 4 years, and I got hurt, and obviously I had to stop due to a neck injury and concussion protocols and stuff like that. They were telling me some things that were affecting my brain at the time was because of some types of waters that I was taking, and some different types of things that I was putting inside my body and stuff like that. So I really started researching on like the brain more than anything. Like I really was like super like scared for a while, because like I'm like 21, I'm like 28 now. My neck was like, I didn't want to be like my mom. My mom was in a car accident at 16 years old, and she's literally been Terminator basically all the way down her spine, like all the way down her neck. So it's like I did not want that for me. So I stopped because of it was getting to that verge. And I literally had to reprocess everything, like some stuff that I was eating and stuff like that. And it is just crazy what we really are putting inside our bodies, but we're not looking at it as, because it's everyday life. Like say like a piece of gum. There's certain type of gums that you should be putting in your mouth. Like it basically, I mean, the biggest and best example is people that are smoking. The vapes. As good as they smell now, I really rather smell a vape than a freaking cigarette most of the times. I'm not even gonna lie, but that could be 10 times worse than a regular cigarette, because you're putting freaking metal in your mouth. And it's like, it's just crazy how we don't look at these things, and we're just going, oh, if it happens, it happens. But then it gets to the point where, and I think this is a great way to say this, is we don't want to make a change until it's almost where we can't change.
People think it's cheaper. Maybe it's cheaper today, but what is it going to cost you in the long run, right? People are not thinking about that. I understand life is expensive, but healthcare is freaking expensive. And if you don't have your health, you have nothing, right? Like you really need to make yourself a priority. And like bringing up cigarettes is a really great example, right? Like we know for a fact that cigarettes kill you, but they're not illegal, right? We know for a fact that these chemicals cause cancer, cause infertility or subfertility or all kinds of different issues, right? But they're still on the shelf. People just assume just because it's on a shelf that it's safe, right? Well, just because a cigarette's on a shelf, does that mean it's safe? Hell no. It's up to the consumer to educate themselves and make informed purchasing decisions, right? And their marketing is on point, right? Dermatologist recommended, natural, blah, 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 blah. Those words are not regulated in any country. Like they can slap that on there. Like
FDA don't even test half the stuff.
No, nobody's testing anything. Like I said, if people do start dropping dead, I mean, they're probably going to look into it, but how many people have to die, right? Like you go to Claire's, like you guys have Claire's makeup in the malls there, right? Like for little girls, it's like all, sparkly earrings and cheap makeup and stuff. That stuff is loaded with talc, which has heavy metals in it. I'm talking lead, arsenic. Like that makeup is loaded with it, and it's been proven, and they still wouldn't take it off the shelves. Like it's really sad. It's little kids, right? Like my sister has 2 daughters, my 2 nieces, they're just turned 4 and one's almost 9. And I go out and buy them. Like if you want lip gloss, Auntie will buy you this expensive stuff because I know that it's, it's not for kids, but at least it's not going to give you cancer or mess up your chances of having kids one day, right? Like it's just infuriating. So yeah, like, yes, nutrition is important. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, women's health coach, but I don't just focus on the food side. Yes, food is important, but we need to look at everything in your
Look
life.
at overall. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's finish it on this thing. Like you started this program, and like you just said, you helped your sister and she got pregnant the first time. Like, what are some of the things that you told her that she did need to change? Like, was she someone that was active? Was she someone that was, just a homebody or something like that? Like, how was that different?
So she works in marketing. So she has a desk job. She's not very active. She's not like super overweight, but she considered herself overweight. She had like really bad facial hair. Like, she got laser hair removal and stuff. Like, she had really bad PCOS symptoms. Her wedding was a little over a year ago. So just before she had started trying to get pregnant, and her PCOS was so out of control that her cycle was all over the place at her wedding. Literally, I'm in the bathroom with her, like, helping wipe her down because she got her period at her wedding out of nowhere. And we were freaking out, thinking that she was going to get blood on her wedding dress. And like, she's not like wasted or anything, but she's drinking a little bit. So she's emotional. It's her freaking wedding, right? Like, that's the number one thing with PCOS is like, you don't know when your cycle is coming. Like, it can show up out of nowhere because these apps are wrong. You don't know when it's coming. It's just, and not for everybody, but for a lot of women, right? Like, so, and my sister's not the only one that I help. Like, I've worked with a lot of one-on-one clients. And then I also have a 10-day PCOS fertility detox where we support your natural detox pathways, like your liver and your kidneys, using real food. And then just helping people like through Facebook groups for free, because this is really, I'm one of those people that, yes, I went through hell, but it brought me to my passion in life. It brought me a way to really make an impact. Like, I'm bringing babies onto the planet, and it feels so good every time I wake up, and people take their pregnancy test in the morning. So I'll wake up and I'll get a message of a client and they have their positive pregnancy test. And it's like, it's the best feeling ever. Right. So anyway, after my own trial and error, and then working with a lot of one-on-one clients, I decided that I only work with women with PCOS. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm most knowledgeable about. And it's also my own experience. So my heart's really in it. So now I'm launching my 16-week group coaching program in January, on January 8th. So I can start working with more than one woman at once. And we have a community of people
like
together.
A seminar type look?
So it's 16 weeks and it's all virtual. And we log in every week for Q&A, for support. You get support every day through the group chat. You get a meal plan. There's 8 different modules that really go into detail on all these topics, right? Like what to eat depending on your symptoms, how to figure out what is causing your PCOS, what are probably your biggest risk of toxins in your life depending on your lifestyle, right? What are some simple fixes that you can do? Go to bed at the same time every night. Try to put your phone away an hour before bed. Like, they can be very, very small habits that can have a big impact on your life. Or exercise, for example, right? Obviously, exercise is really important for you, but someone with PCOS who already has a high stress job or high inflammation shouldn't be trying to run a 5K, right? Like that is just a recipe for disaster, right? Like, they shouldn't be doing CrossFit or anything like that that's going to make their body scream even more. They could do weightlifting or, yoga. Like, there's definitely strength training to those, but we need to cool your body, not stress it out even more, right? So anyway, there's all kinds of different things, and we really take a personalized approach, but you have the accountability and the support of other women around you. And that's what my clients have been asking for. So that's what I have coming out in January. But if you want a free resource before then, you can go to my Instagram. It's just at charisma_nutrition, KARISMA. It's a little play on my name.
The links will be below, guys. The links will be below.
And I have a couple free resources. So I have a list of labs that I recommend that you go and get your doctor just to run some blood work for you to see, what is driving your PCOS. And then a supplements cheat sheet. If you're not sure what to be taking or how much or what it's for, there's a cheat sheet for that too.
Hey, I like it. So, Karlie, is there any last words you want to say? Is there any last shout outs you want to do?
Shout out
links?
to
They'll be below, guys.
to my husband, who has been super supportive in me, starting another business while being a busy mom. So thank you to Sean. But no, check out my website. It's KARISMA, charismanutrition.com. You can read more about my story. I have some free resources. If you're interested in those clean products that I recommended, I have a couple discount codes for you, so you can go check that out. And yeah, stay tuned. You can either join my, 10-day cleanse. It's a fertility detox. I run it every month. Or if you're looking for more support, or, you're looking to get pregnant ASAP or in the next 6 months and you don't really know where to begin, or you feel like you've tried everything, you should check out my program that's coming out in January. The first, I haven't decided, but the first either 5 to 10 people are going to get 50% off. So that is a huge discount for the first people to join. So yeah.
Hey, that's not when you say January.
I'm your girl.
There you go. All right, guys. Like I said, the links will be below. Check her out. Get the website. Get you finding. If you feel like you've done everything, if you feel like you don't know everything regarding with supplements, food, what to put in your body, stuff like that, go check this stuff out, man. Like I tell people all the time, like, we really have all the resources now. There's no excuse why we're not looking at things and hopefully preventing a lot of, cancer and stuff like that. It's our control. We always talk about stuff that's out of our control. We have control of what we're putting in our bodies. Our body's like a car. We put the wrong fuel in, guess what? You're not going to roll a lot farther. So it's like those little things. But Karlie, thank you for joining us, man. And you are more than welcome to come on anytime you want. You just let me know. We'll set it up. But guys, this is another episode of Buzzing with Marlowe. See you later.